The mockery begins. The story opens in the year 2157, 40 years after humanity first made contact with the Galactic Council. The scene begins aboard the orbital station Haven's Rest, orbiting Earth's moon. Captain Jake Rivers, a veteran officer, receives an urgent transmission from the Galactic Council headquarters. The transmission comes from Ambassador Vex, a tall, crystalline being from the Helix sector. His voice carries the usual tone of barely concealed disgust that most aliens use when addressing humans. Captain Rivers. Vex begins. The Council has decided. Humanity's application for advanced sector rights has been rejected. Again. The rejection stings, but it's not unexpected. For decades, the galaxy's major powers have treated humans like children playing with toys. The Karathi Empire, with their massive dreadnoughts, openly laughs at Earth's primitive nuclear drives. The Syndicate Alliance mocks humanity's simple, kinetic weapons while flaunting their plasma cannons. Even the peaceful builders refuse to share their technology, claiming humans are too young to understand it. Rivers walks through the station's observation deck, watching Earth rotate below. The planet looks peaceful, but he knows better. In the hidden shipyards of Mars and the asteroid belt mining facilities, and in the deep space research stations, humanity has been working. Not on the flashy energy weapons that other species love, but on something else entirely. The scene shifts to Mars, where Admiral Kate Stone stands in the command center of Shipyard 7. She's reviewing reports from across the solar system. The numbers are staggering. 50,000 vessels of various sizes, all built in secret over the past 20 years. Not the handful of ships the aliens think humanity possesses, but an entire fleet that dwarfs anything the galaxy has ever seen. "Ma'am," says Lieutenant Tom Beck, "we've got confirmation from all sectors. The fleet is ready." Stone nods grimly. The plan has been in motion since the third rejection from the Galactic Council. Humanity realized early that they couldn't compete with alien technology, so they chose a different path. While other species built better weapons, humans built more ships, many more ships. The part ends with a scene in the Galactic Council chambers. Representatives from 12 major species gather around a holographic display showing the Outer Rim territories. There's been talk of a new threat, some unknown force that's been quietly taking control of uninhabited systems. The aliens dismiss it as pirates or rebels. "Whatever it is," says Counselor Zeph from the Karathi Empire, "it's probably those foolish humans trying to prove themselves again. Let them play in the empty systems. They'll come crawling back when they realize they're out of their depth." The council members laugh, their various forms of amusement filling the chamber. None of them notice the small human observation drone hidden in the corner, recording everything. The drone's message is simple. The mockery ends today. The revelation. The second part begins 3 days later. The galaxy wakes up to impossible news. Every major trade route has been blocked, not by single ships or small fleets, but by walls of vessels stretching across entire star systems. The reports flooding into the Galactic Council are all the same. Humans, thousands of them, positioned at every major hyperspace junction. Captain Rivers stands on the bridge of the Defiance, one of humanity's newer destroyers. Around him, the view screen shows a sight that makes even him pause. The Kepler Trade Corridor, the galaxy's busiest shipping lane, is completely blocked by human ships. Not a few dozen vessels, but over 800 ships arranged in perfect formation. Status. "Report," Rivers orders. "All ships in position, sir," responds Commander Lisa Park. The Karathi trade fleet is requesting permission to pass. They're not happy. Rivers allows himself a small smile. The Karathi, who love to show off their massive dreadnoughts, are discovering that size means nothing when facing numbers. Their 12-ship convoy, each vessel the size of a small city, is facing a human fleet that stretches beyond the horizon. The scene shifts to the Galactic Council emergency session. The chamber is in chaos. Representatives are shouting, demanding explanations. How did humanity build so many ships? Where did they get the resources? How did they move them all into position without anyone noticing? Counselor Zeph slams his armored fist on the table. This is impossible. Our intelligence reports show humans have maybe 200 ships total. Ambassador Vex's crystalline form flickers with agitation. The trade routes are completely blocked. Nothing is moving. Our economies will collapse within days if this continues. The human representative, Ambassador John Gray, sits quietly at the back of the chamber. He's been mostly ignored for years, treated as a curiosity rather than a real diplomat. Now every eye in the room is on him. You want to know how? Gray asks calmly. While you were building bigger guns, we were building more ships. While you were making faster engines, we were making more ships. While you were creating stronger shields, we were making more ships. The chamber falls silent. Gray continues. You mocked our simple technology. You laughed at our basic weapons. You called us primitive. But you forgot something important about humans. The alien representatives lean forward. We're really, really good at making things. Lots of things. Back in space, the reality of the situation becomes clear. The human fleet isn't just blocking trade routes. They're everywhere. Mining operations, research stations, military outposts. Every important location in the galaxy now has human ships nearby. Not threatening, not attacking, just there. Watching, waiting. Admiral Stone reviews the reports from her command ship. The numbers are even more impressive than she'd hoped. 52,000 ships deployed across 300 systems. Every major civilization in the galaxy is effectively surrounded. Ma'am, says her aide, we're receiving surrender requests from 17 different species. They're asking what we want. Stone considers this. The plan was never conquest. It was respect. Open a channel to all human vessels. Send the following message. We want to talk. As equals. The part ends with a scene aboard a Karathi dreadnought. The ship's captain, General Torx, stares at the tactical display showing the human fleet. His massive warship, capable of destroying planets, is surrounded by 200 human vessels. Each one is smaller than his ship's gun turrets, but together, they represent something he's never seen before. Sir, says his tactical officer, what are our orders? Torx looks at the display for a long moment. His entire career has been built on the assumption that bigger meant better. Now he's facing an enemy that turned that assumption into a weakness. Send a message to the human fleet, he finally says. Tell them we're ready to listen. The terms. The Galactic Council emergency session has been running for 6 hours. The chamber, usually a place of ordered debate, now resembles a marketplace during a riot. Representatives argue, threaten, and plead, but the reality remains unchanged. Human ships control the galaxy's most important locations. Ambassador Gray sits calmly at the human delegation table, watching the chaos unfold. His simple presence seems to irritate the alien representatives more than any weapon could. For decades, they've grown used to ignoring the human corner of the chamber. Now, he's the most important person in the room. Counselor Zeph finally calls for order. His massive Karathi frame towers over the other delegates as he speaks. Human Gray, what are your demands? Gray stands slowly, his plain brown suit looking modest compared to the elaborate robes and armor around him. We don't have demands, Counselor. We have terms for discussion. The difference in words makes several representatives shift uncomfortably. Demands can be rejected. Terms suggest negotiation between equals. First, Gray begins, humanity requests full membership in the Galactic Council, with voting rights equal to any other species. The syndicate representative, a floating blob of energy called flux, pulses angrily. Impossible! Your species barely controls one system. We control one system, Gray agrees. But right now we're sitting in 300 of yours. Meanwhile, in the Vega system, Captain Rivers watches the standoff with a Karathi battle group. The alien ships are magnificent, their hulls gleaming with advanced armor plating. Their weapons could vaporize his entire squadron in seconds. But his squadron isn't alone. Captain, reports Commander Park, we've got visual confirmation. The Karathi fleet is requesting permission to pass through the shipping lane. Rivers nods. Open a channel. Let's see what they have to say. The face that appears on screen belongs to General Torx, the legendary Karathi commander. His scarred features speak of countless battles, but now he looks tired. Captain Rivers, I am General Torx of the Karathi Empire. We wish to transit this system to reach our home worlds. General, you're welcome to pass, Rivers responds. After our governments reach an agreement. Torx's jaw tightens. My supply ships carry medical supplies for the outer colonies. People will die if we don't deliver them. Rivers feels the weight of the moment. This isn't about flexing power. It's about changing how the galaxy works. General, transmit your medical supply manifests. We'll escort your hospital ships through. Immediately, the military vessels wait. The Karathi general stares at him for a long moment. You would allow our medical ships to pass? Human ships will escort them personally to ensure safe passage. Rivers confirms. Back in the council chambers, Gray continues outlining humanity's terms. Second, we want access to the Galactic trade network on equal terms. No more primitive species tariffs. The Traders Guild representative, a insect-like being called Click, rattles its mandibles. Your technology is centuries behind ours. Our technology got us here, Gray responds simply. Our ships are blockading your trade routes. I'd say it works well enough. The third term causes even more uproar. We want representation on the Technology Sharing Council. Absolutely not, shouts the builder representative. Your species would misuse advanced technology. Gray's expression doesn't change. For 40 years, you've refused to share basic improvements to our life support systems. Improvements that would save human lives. You've called us too primitive to handle better medical technology. Too young for advanced manufacturing. Too dangerous for defensive weapons. He pauses, letting his words sink in. Meanwhile, we've built the largest fleet in galactic history using that primitive technology. Maybe it's time to reconsider who's really dangerous. Admiral Stone receives updates from across the galaxy. The human fleet maintains its positions, but they're not just sitting idle. Medical ships receive immediate escort. Scientific vessels get safe passage. Trade ships carrying food and essential supplies move freely. Only military convoys and luxury goods remain blocked. Ma'am, reports her aide, we're receiving requests from civilian governments. They want to negotiate separately from their military leaders. Stone nods. This was expected. The plan wasn't to starve populations or cause suffering. It was to demonstrate that humanity could control the galaxy's commerce without destroying it. The part ends with a private message from General Torx to Captain Rivers. Captain, my medical ships reached the colonies safely. Your escort vessels. They shared their own medical supplies with our doctors. I have never seen such behavior from a conquering force. Rivers reads the message twice. We're not conquerors, General. We're neighbors who got tired of being ignored. The test 3 weeks into the blockade, the galaxy faces its first real test of the new reality. The Outer Rim colonies, a collection of mining worlds on the edge of known space, send out a distress call. Pirates have attacked the system, overwhelming the local defense forces. The distress signal reaches the Galactic Council at the same time it reaches Admiral Stone's command ship. For the first time since the blockade began, both human and alien forces receive the same emergency request. Counselor. Zeph contacts the human fleet directly. Admiral Stone, the Karathi Empire requests permission to deploy our third battle group to assist the Outer Rim colonies. Stone reviews the tactical data. The pirate force is substantial, over 100 ships using stolen military hardware. The Outer Rim's defenders are completely outmatched. Counselor, permission granted. Captain Rivers will coordinate with your forces. The response surprises Zeph. He expected demands, conditions, or refusal. Instead, the humans are offering to help coordinate the rescue mission. In the Kepler system, Captain Rivers receives new orders. His blockade fleet is to split into 2 groups, one to maintain position, another to escort the Karathi battle group to the Outer Rim. The irony isn't lost on him. 3 weeks ago, these same Karathi ships were trying to force their way through his blockade. Captain, Commander Park announces, The Karathi fleet is requesting tactical data sharing. Rivers authorizes the link. Within minutes, human and Karathi navigation systems are synchronized. The joint fleet begins moving toward the outer rim, with human scouts providing advanced reconnaissance. General Torx contacts Rivers as they enter hyperspace. "Captain, I must ask, why are you helping us? Your people could use this crisis to demonstrate our weakness." Rivers considers the question. "General, those are people under attack. Everything else can wait." The scene shifts to the outer rim system, where the situation is desperate. The mining colony of Haven's Edge has lost contact with 3 of its platforms. Civilian ships are fleeing toward the inner planets, but many won't make it without escort. The pirate fleet, led by a rogue syndicate commander called Vortex, has positioned itself to intercept the refugee ships. Their plan is simple: capture the civilians for ransom, strip the mining platforms of valuable resources, and disappear into the void. "Boss," reports one of Vortex's lieutenants, "we're picking up hyperspace signatures. Looks like the cavalry's coming." Vortex examines the scanner data. "Let them come. The Karathi might have bigger ships, but we outnumber them 2 to 1. What emerges from hyperspace changes everything." The expected Karathi battle group appears first, 12 massive dreadnoughts in formation. But they're not alone. Surrounding them, like a swarm of angry insects, are 300 human ships. "What the hell is that?" Vortex demands. His tactical officer's voice shakes as he responds. "Sir, it's the human fleet, the one that's been blockading the trade routes." The joint human Karathi force wastes no time. While the Karathi dreadnoughts engage the main pirate fleet, human ships scatter to protect the civilian vessels. Their smaller size and greater numbers allow them to be everywhere at once. Captain Rivers coordinates the rescue operation from his bridge. Groups Alpha through Delta escort the civilian ships to safe distance. Groups Echo through Hotel support the Karathi advance. Groups India through Mike secure the mining platforms. The battle is unlike anything the galaxy has seen before. Traditional space combat involves massive ships exchanging devastating fire at long range. This is different. Human ships swarm around larger vessels, providing cover and support while the Karathi dreadnoughts deliver the heavy firepower. General Torx watches the tactical display with growing amazement. "Captain Rivers, your ships, they're fighting like they're part of our fleet." "We're all here for the same reason, General," Rivers responds while directing his ships around a damaged Karathi vessel. "Let's get these people to safety." The pirates, expecting a traditional battle, find themselves overwhelmed by the coordination between human and alien forces. Vortex's ships are used to fighting individual enemies, not integrated fleets working together. Within 4 hours, the pirate threat is eliminated. The civilian ships are safe, the mining platforms are secured, and the outer rim colonies are back under protection. But the real victory isn't military, it's diplomatic. The part ends with a joint statement from Admiral Stone and General Torx. "Today, human and Karathi forces work together to protect innocent lives. This cooperation demonstrates what's possible when species treat each other as equals rather than competitors." In the Galactic Council chambers, Ambassador Gray receives the news with quiet satisfaction. The test wasn't whether humanity could maintain its blockade, it was whether they could work with their former adversaries when it mattered most. The new galaxy, 6 months after the blockade began, the galaxy looks completely different. The Galactic Council chambers have been renovated to include a proper human delegation section. Ambassador Gray no longer sits in the back corner. The human table is positioned alongside the other major powers. Today marks the formal signing of the Terran Accords, the agreement that ends the blockade and establishes humanity's place in galactic civilization. Representatives from every major species are present, but the atmosphere is far different from the emergency sessions of 6 months ago. Captain Rivers stands on the observation deck of the new orbital station Unity, watching as ships from dozens of species dock at the facility. Human, Karathi, Syndicate, and Builder vessels share the same space, their crews working together on joint projects that would have been impossible before the blockade. "Sir," Commander Park approaches with the data. "Freutung, we've got the final numbers from Fleet Command. Rivers reviews the statistics. In 6 months, the human fleet has escorted over 10,000 civilian vessels, participated in 47 rescue operations, and provided disaster relief to 23 different worlds. The same ships that once symbolized humanity's isolation now represent cooperation across the galaxy. Admiral Stone addresses the Council via hologram from Earth. The integration process has exceeded all expectations. Human ships are now working alongside alien vessels in every major trade route. Our joint patrols have reduced piracy by 78% across the Outer Rim territories. The success isn't just military. Dr. Sarah Kim, humanity's new representative to the Technology Sharing Council, reports breakthrough developments. The combination of human manufacturing capacity with builder engineering principles has produced medical advances that benefit everyone. The new life support systems are already saving lives across multiple species. But the most significant change is philosophical. The galaxy's major powers have learned to see humanity not as junior partners, but as equals with unique capabilities. The Karathi, once focused only on military might, now appreciate the value of numbers and coordination. The builders who hoarded their technology have discovered that sharing knowledge accelerates innovation. General Torx, now working closely with human forces, addresses a mixed gathering of officers. 6 months ago, I measured strength by the aim, size of my guns, and the thickness of my armor. Today, I measure it by the effectiveness of my allies and the coordination of my fleet. The ceremony begins with Councillor Zeph calling the session to order. The massive Karathi's voice carries none of its former condescension when addressing the human delegation. Ambassador Gray, please present the final terms of the Terran Accords. Gray stands, his simple appearance now commanding respect throughout the chamber. The Accords establish 3 fundamental principles. First, all species in the Galactic Council hold equal voting rights regardless of their technology level or territorial holdings. Murmurs of agreement echo through the chamber. This principle, once unthinkable, now seems obvious. Second, the Galactic Trade Network operates on equal terms for all member species. No preferential treatment, no primitive species penalties, no technology-based discrimination. The Traders Guild representative, Click, actually applauds this announcement. The past 6 months have proven that diversity in trade partnerships benefits everyone. Third, the Technology Sharing Council will actively work to improve the lives of all galactic citizens, not just the most advanced species. As Gray speaks, Captain Rivers receives a priority message from Earth. The content makes him smile. It's from a group of children at a school in New Tokyo, asking if they can send drawings to their alien friends working at the space station. The formal signing takes place with representatives from 12 major species adding their approval to the Accords. But the real moment comes when General Torx approaches Ambassador Gray privately. "Human Gray," the old warrior says, "I owe you an apology. We spent so long looking down at your species that we forgot to look around at what you were accomplishing." Gray nods respectfully. "General, the galaxy is big enough for all of us. We just needed to figure out how to share it properly." The story concludes with a scene set 1 year later. Captain Rivers, now Admiral Rivers, commands the joint patrol fleet protecting the Outer Rim territories. His flagship, the Defiance, leads a formation that includes human destroyers, Karathi cruisers, builder research vessels, and syndicate scouts. A new distress call comes in, another pirate attack, this time in the Centauri sector. But this time the response is immediate and coordinated. Dozens of ships from multiple species converge on the crisis, working together with the efficiency that was once impossible. "All ships, this is Admiral Rivers," he announces to the joint fleet. "Let's go help some people." As the fleet jumps to hyperspace, Rivers reflects on how much has changed. The galaxy once mocked humanity for being primitive and weak. Now the galaxy is stronger because humanity found a way to turn their differences into advantages. The stars no longer look down on Earth. They look toward it as part of a galaxy that finally learned to work together.